Welcome to Banking on KC. I'm your host, Kelly Scanlon. Thank you for joining us. With us on this episode is abstract artist Rachel Black, whose work is being showcased in the One Ward Parkway of the bank. Welcome, Rachel. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your work. For those who are just discovering it, how would you describe your artistic style?
So I am an abstract artist, and I tend to use a lot of bright colors, and I enjoy using movement and energy within my painting to bring out, I think, emotion that's probably bottled up inside of me. That's what I show in my artwork.
So lots of color, lots of movement, lots of energy. And what is it that draws you to that abstract genre?
I love abstract art when I see it. And one of my favorite artists is Willem de Kooning. And he's got a piece or two in the Nelson. And I just love the movement and the layers of the oil paints, textures. It's like you want to reach out and touch it. And I just love looking at that and feeling it on my own artwork. And also I really enjoy Hans Hofmann. He has lots of color. Those are two influences of my artwork.
What materials and media do you most enjoy working with, and how do they help you express that emotion, that movement, and so forth?
So I use spray paint, and I'm also influenced by graffiti art. Keith Haring and Jean-Michel Basquiat are also other artists that are influencers of mine. I love to use the spray paint. That just kind of is like a light, airy feeling when you use it sometimes, or sometimes you can really hold down that spray and get a lot of color on there, and it's like more of like a punctual feeling. And then I like to go in and scratch or draw, just kind of like Basquiat used to do in his artwork, and kind of like childlike scratches and feeling to it. But then I'll take some enamel, and enamel's hard to control, and it's kind of fluid, and I will splash that on the painting, and maybe I will use a scraper and just swish it across the painting and let it flow for wherever it goes, and see what happens. And so with my artwork, it's a process. Don't know what it's going to end up like. So it's a feeling when it comes to the end. It's just a feeling. I know it looks compositionally there and it's done. People always ask me, like, how do you know when it's done? It's just, I know.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like that whole journey and destination thing. You know, it's the whole journey. It's not the destination.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandmother is Big Sonia. And if you don't know her, you need to know her.
Yes.
She's known for her resilience.
Yes.
She's a survivor of the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a storyteller.
Yes.
She wants people to know about that experience. How has her legacy shaped your identity, not just personally, but creatively as well?
Well, she is a doodler. And I don't know if you knew this. If any of you have seen the movie, a bunch of her doodles have been incorporated into the movie, and it shows her doodling. And she, to this day, she does her doodles, and we even have a doodle hanging in our house. But I've just seen her growing up, watching her doodle. She'll doodle on envelopes and birthday cards, and we'll receive these from her. And I feel like that's been inspirational for me, because she came from this dark past, and then she's got these bright, colorful doodles gleaning. And so in my artwork, I tend to prioritize, as you can see in the bright colors, the themes of lightness, optimism, and resilience rather than darkness. So that you'll see that in my art. They're all my pieces are pretty bright and colorful, and and so that brings me happiness, and I can tell that brings people happiness when they look at my artwork.
So you mentioned watching your grandmother as you grew up doodling. When did you take an interest in art? When did you start being drawn to it? Was there a point?
When we were really little. I have a twin sister, both of us, when we were really little. And my mother used to be the art lady at our elementary school for kindergarten. She would bring in pieces of art to share with the classroom and teach us about different artists. And she always had some sort of art class going on or art background going on. So we would always pick up that from my mom.
So it really is something that started at a very, very young age. You were really kind of born into it, so to speak, and then you ran with it. Is your twin sister, is she at all interested in art?
Yeah, she does art as well. She does paintings as well. And we both were graphic designers for a long time. My uncle as well, so Sonia's son, is an artist as well. And so it just kind of came down through generations. Yeah.
We've already talked a bit about how your work feels deeply emotional, how it's layered, and that you know when it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily know when you start. But do you begin with a specific feeling or story in mind and then let it go from there and let it emerge through the process?
I might have some sort of idea of how I want the look and feel to be, but I don't have it concrete in my head. I do research imagery sometimes online, or I have a ton of photos that I've taken on different vacations, or I might see something interesting around me outside or in my house, and I'll take photo of it. And so I have a photo library, and I just get colors and lines and patterns from what I see. And I love just looking at a blank canvas and just starting out. And I mean, it could be throwing, some enamel on there or spray painting some lines. It's funny because the beginning, I feel like, is the easiest. And then you get closer to the middle of the process and it starts to get harder because there's so much depth that I'm working with and different kinds of textures and colors and paints. And how do I bring that back together and make them work together to complete the painting? And so it becomes like a challenge.
Yeah. So you don't work. I've interviewed some artists before who say that they put a grid on it, on the paper.
No,
you just start.
It's just from whatever I'm feeling like. It's the process.
How long does it take you typically from start to finish?
People ask me this all the time, and I will tell you, I don't keep track of time. I don't do that because then it starts to feel like work, and I want it to be fun and light. And sometimes I have to walk away from a painting, and it may be for weeks. It might be for months, and I might come back and work on it for about an hour, and I might have to walk away from it a little bit if I'm not sure, if it's not clicking yet. And also, I'd like to say that I work on like 8 different paintings at once.
I was going to ask you if you're like a book reader who starts a bunch of different books.
So if I have a bunch of canvases that are brand new, fresh white, I will be working on all of them at once, and some will take on a different look and some will come together faster than another one. They're all works in progress, and time is just kind of up in the air for when they're finished. I worked in the corporate world for a long time, sitting at a desk. So this is my freedom. And that's why I don't want to log time.
Exactly. Well, now that you've mentioned the corporate world, your work spans both commercial and fine art.
Yeah.
So is there a particular moment, though, when those two worlds converged for you and influenced your creative direction in a deeper way?
Yeah. So just to start out, I did go to KU for Bachelor of Fine Arts, and my emphasis was in painting. And at the time, I thought I wanted to work in art galleries, but then I realized, I'm just not sure I want to do gallery the retail side of it. So I went back to school, did some graphic design work, and my career was graphic design for about 15 years or so. And during that time, I was so busy with work, I wasn't able to paint a whole lot. But afterwards, I just really I had a fire in me that wanted to get back to painting. And so that's when I feel like I was bringing more graphic design into my paintings. Earlier on, it was more painterly, not so much of the like patterns or design-like feeling early on. But now, as my artwork progresses, I tend to bring more of the design elements into that. And I just love different types of design that people do. And anyways, I do a lot of research for that. And I just love drawing, kind of like my grandma doodling. And that's how I used to
kind of free form.
Yeah.
As your career has progressed, you are introducing more and more of the design elements into it. So can you give me an example of what you're talking about there?
Sure. So I have some stencils that I like to use that are more clean cut lines or clean cut patterns. Some are patterns you might recognize. Some are just what I think of as design elements. And so I will use these stencils and I'll spray paint the imagery on, or might use some paint, different kinds of paints. But that's what I'm talking about as graphic design.
Sure. Yeah. And many artists that you talk to, whether they're writers or whether they're performing, or anybody really that's creative, has these points where they get these mental blocks, or they might have doubts about the direction that their work is going. So when that happens for you, how do you navigate through it, and has your approach to that changed over time?
I have to stop and walk away and not look at it for maybe a week or so. And previously, I would try to work at it, and it would muddle the painting. The painting would get to be too chaotic and it wouldn't look right. And I just learned you need to just walk away, and it'll eventually come to you. So.
When some people look at abstract art, they think, I have no clue what that is. Mm-hmm. What would you advise people who look at your art and don't even know where to begin with it, rather than just letting the emotion take over?
Some people tend to be more drawn to realistic art because it's what they know, they understand it, it's safe. My art is more of, I call them visual playgrounds. You can walk up to a piece and get lost in it and have fun and notice things that might be different or unique. I mean, just little details here and there. And sometimes I'll just sit and look at a painting and get lost and find some different areas that I can get lost in. I can create a lot of depth, and I just wish the viewer to just stand there, relax, and notice the colors, the textures, the different design elements, and have fun with it. I don't expect you to understand it really. It's just if it evokes an emotion, great. But yeah, usually it brings a lot of happiness to people.
Well, especially with the vibrant colors that you talked about, and the movement and the energy.
Yeah.
I personally love abstract art. And one of the reasons that I like it so much is because really what you just said. I think it is made for the viewer, because the viewer can interpret it as they wish.
Right.
What it might be the way the sun is shining on it at the moment. It might just be the mood that you're in, or whatever. But I feel like because you can bring more of your own interpretation to it, it's made for the person who's viewing it.
Right. And I just want to add to that is that we have so much information coming at us all the time. Like on our phones, on the computers, on the TVs, everything. And so I feel like art is a way to escape. And so with my art, you can have it in a room and just sit there and look at it and just kind of go on a vacation, I guess.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah,
I love that.
Relax and just escape and hang out. And so that's why I think of them as little playgrounds. Like when you're a kid and you're on a playground and you're having so much fun, it's kind of like that. You're sitting there having fun, enjoying the art.
Exactly. You are an artist, but obviously you've mentioned the different exhibits that you do. You have it on display right here at the bank down in the lobby of One Word Parkway. So it's also a business for you. How do you marry the business side with the creative side?
That's really hard for me because I only like the creative side. I'll be honest with you, I'm not much of a business person. So, and I'm my own worst critic. So I tend to be a little bit shy about the business side of it. So it's a constant work in progress.
Yeah, but you do have a website.
I do.
And you can sell through that. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the exhibits. Do you do any commissioned work?
I don't.
Okay,
and I don't do that because the artwork is coming from me. And I've tried it in the past where people are telling me what colors they want, and it's just not same. It's just not like it. The artwork is coming from inside of me. It's whatever's going on inside of me. I can't be told.
So you might take a job one day if somebody said, just go at it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the joy that your artwork brings to me is that I don't know exactly what I'm going to see.
Right.
Yeah. In that case, you might consider one.
Sure.
Okay. Tell us about your website.
So my website showcases the artwork that I have sold and also have available. And a little bit about me is on there. And it also shows the artwork in different rooms. So you can see what it looks like up in a home or in an office. Because sometimes people they can't visualize what abstract art is going to look like. So you can also take a look at that. And then there's contact form on there if you want to reach out to me.
Okay. And
questions.
what is the address of your website?
It's my first and last name. So it's Rachel Black Design, DESIGN.com. And feel free to reach out to me with any questions.
So RachelBlackDesign.com. Go out there and look at her artwork. Looking ahead, are there any themes or mediums you haven't explored yet, but you feel drawn to? And how might the next chapter of your artistic evolution look?
Well, I used to work with acrylics, and I'm thinking about maybe trying that again because they dry faster than oils and not as messy. So I might try to do some art in the acrylics and dabble in that. Also, I used to do serigraphy, silk screening in college, and one of my older paintings that my brother has hanging in his house, it has some silk screens of photos of Italy on there within the abstract painting, which are neat. So I thought about maybe trying to do some more printing within the painting, like kind of layering. I've also thought about simplifying because sometimes my art has a lot going on, and maybe trying to do some more minimalistic, simple paintings would challenge me.
Yeah. So do you do mostly large format, sometimes smaller?
I work large format, and it's because I can really get my body into it and motion into it, and it's hard for me to work smaller. I've done some smaller ones, but really the large paintings are my bread and butter.
You know, I've referenced your exhibits. Where have you exhibited? Where are some of the places that you've exhibited?
Okay, so here in Kansas City, most recent was Habitat Gallery, which was in Lady Volkos Center, and then out in Vale and Aspen, I have also sold my artwork. But around here in Kansas City, also at Prairie Brook, I used to have my art showing there.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming on the show, for talking about your art, what inspires it, and the joy that you love to bring to people through it. We really appreciate you coming here today. And for anyone who would like to get a firsthand look at that art, please feel free to come to the Country Club Bank headquarters at One Ward Parkway. Go to the lobby and you will see it displayed there.
Thank you for having me.
This is Joe Close, president of Country Club Bank. Thank you to Rachel Black for being our guest on this episode of Banking on KC. Rachel's vibrant abstract art draws inspiration from her global travels, her grandmother's resilience, and her own journey from graphic design to full-time artist. With color, energy, and emotion, she transforms each canvas into a visual playground that invites viewers to escape, reflect, and reconnect with joy. Creativity and culture are essential threads in the fabric of a thriving community. By showcasing Rachel's art at our One Ward Parkway headquarters, We're proud to support the artists who spark imagination, conversation, and connection throughout Kansas City. Thanks for tuning in this week. We're banking on you, Kansas City. Country Club Bank, member FDIC.